All right, golfers, so you want to get better at this game. We all do, right? But the weather outside's poor, it's cold, it's wet. Perhaps you're busy, young family, busy work schedule, and it's tough to get to the driving range to get some time into practice. If that's you, this video is really going to help. I'm going to share my 3 top drills that you can do at home with very little equipment to improve your game. So we're going to get stuck right in, guys. Nothing technical here today. We're going to look at 3 core skills that can be trained at home. We just need some tape, some masking tape, some foot spray or some strike spray, and a net or a screen. I'm going to turn this simulator off in a moment. No simulator required. Perhaps you can even use a towel hung up in the garage. I have some clients and online clients doing that. So do whatever you need to do, guys. Make the most of the time that we have at home when the weather's poor. 3 skills. Key skill number 1, where are we striking it on the club face? So many people don't realize or don't even know where they're striking it, and that's a huge factor on distance and direction. Very important piece. So what I'd recommend is getting some spray, some foot spray, or even some tape that can just leave a mark when you're striking, and just put a little light coating on the club, let it dry there, and just see where we're hitting it on the face. I had a client just today that had no idea where he was hitting it. The ball was going out to the right and he was just couldn't understand why. We put some spray on, immediately we saw that it was coming out towards the heel and that was causing the ball to go out to the right. He had no idea. He thought his face was open, but with that awareness now was able to provide some interventions to help reduce that heel strike, and then we can start to see where's the ball going from a centered strike. So first, guys, let's just see where you're hitting it. So again, I'm going to turn this simulator off because we do not need it for this training. I'm going to show you guys that you do not need it to work on these skills. So there we go. The screen is off. So we're just going to put a ball down and hit into your net, your towel, your screen, whatever you've got there at home, and just hit some shots and just see, where are you hitting it on the club face. So out of the middle there, being a professional, hopefully that's what I should do more of. I don't always hit it out of the center, but you'll just see, guys, where are you hitting it? That's the first piece. Bring awareness to your strike. Now that's a little bit out of the heel there, you could see on that one. Now go again. That felt much better. That one was out in the middle here. And so just seeing where you're hitting it. Lower handicappers will be hovering around this sort of area. The tall professionals will be in the middle every time. The higher handicappers will be in all the various spots and they won't have that awareness of where it is. So when they do hit an errant shot on the golf course, it's hard to correct. So I'd encourage you guys just to first bring awareness to where are you striking it on the club face. Super, super important. And a skill that you can develop, because we don't always want to just be trying to hit it exactly out in the middle. And what I mean by that is, like I say, going back to the example of a client earlier on just today, with that heel strike, if we're hitting there, we need to feel the opposite. So we need to start to learn what it feels like to hit way out of the toe. And so when you start to do it wrong to get it right, if you will, and start to explore the ranges of the club face with feedback, then you're able to correct any error. So when you're on the golf course, golf's one of the only sport really where you're out there playing, you're out there in the field of playing competition, and you haven't got a coach there to support or give you half-time team talks or tell you anything during the game. You've got to figure it out yourself, and that's why it can be so frustrating for so many when the ball's going all over the place and don't know what's actually happening. So bring awareness to it, develop this skill so you can actually draw a line down the center of your iron or driver or whatever club you're using and start to purposely try and hit different spots on the face. Now from a normal setup, I'm going to try and hit it out of the toe just by using skill, just by being an athlete, not standing any further away, normal setup position. I'm going to make a swing and I'm just going to feel like I'm a little bit more out of the toe. So here we go. Now, years of playing, I know that that was out of the toe. I can feel that, but a lot of people won't realize, but that was out of the toe. So that's that feedback that you'll start to, when you do that, you'll feel, oh, that's a toe strike. And your brain starts to register that feeling was a toe strike. So if you're out on a golf course, you feel that feel, that's a toe strike. I've got to feel like I'm a little bit more now towards the heel to get it back towards the middle. So the next shot, and this is obviously in practice, I'm going to purposely try and hit it out of the heel now Same setup, no change there, but I'm just going to try and feel like that sweet spot shifts a bit further away from me. I'm going to almost purposely try and shank this one. So it's pretty close. So you can see there, out of the heel. So, you know, doing it wrong to get it right, it's a great training so that you can start to then come back somewhere in the middle. I've felt what it's like to be either way, and then I'll try and find somewhere in the middle here. And that's a little bit closer, still a little bit out of the heel. So again, I'm not absolutely perfect at it, so it's a skill that anybody can develop, but it's closer to the middle. And if you're finding it difficult to do it at a high speed, full swing, you can actually just train it nice and slow. So you could even start, some beginners that start off playing, I would even get them to use a putter for this. But for example, you could just do little half swings. See if you can find the middle of the face. Much easier on a half swing. I might then try and explore the toe. That's a little bit more out towards the toe. And so you're just developing those skills. When you're swinging at full speed, impact's such a blur. How do you know where you've hit it? It's so difficult. So feedback is key, guys. So develop that skill when you're at home training. You don't even need real balls. You can use, I've got my son's foam balls here. You can use airflow balls, anything, so that you're not going to damage things, especially when you're trying to hit it purposely out of the heel or the toe. If you've not got a net with sides, for example, that ball could go flying into the neighbour's garden or into the garage walls. So just use some foam balls. No harm whatsoever in doing that. Nobody's going to get hurt, and you can still get the awareness of where you're hitting it on the face. It's still going to pick that up. So that's skill number one, guys. Develop that awareness, that skill as to where you're hitting on the club face. That was a nice one to finish that segment on there, out of the middle. So second skill I would love you guys to work on, the second drill, is working on club face control. Now you might think, well, I can't see the ball flight when I'm working indoors, or I'm in the garage, or I'm in the net, whatever it may be. Yes, you can. You can work on your face control. Yes, you won't see the ball flight. But for this, grab yourself some masking tape or similar. And here I've taken the simulator off. And what I'm going to do is just get a line of this tape and just place it down the middle of this screen here. It's just going to give me an awareness of where my start line is, where my target is, and where the ball hits in relation to that mark. That tape is going to tell me if my face was basically open or closed. So you can start to work. Level one would be just going closed, i.e. left for the right hander with your face, or open and then back towards the center. So you could just get it left, right, center, left, right, center. Same, your normal grip, your normal setup. I'm not changing your technique here, guys. Yes, there's technique elements that can certainly help or hinder doing either direction, but just to work on your skill, and you're going to work on where's your face at impact. So really in the golf swing, we're working through this range, backswing, downswing, and it's at what point is the face closing to the target or open to the target. So you're just feeling it, educating those hands. So starting off, face pointing at your target, at the tape, and making some little half swings to start, just to get the feel wherever you want to start. And I'm going to present this left, and you can see, I can see that ball's hit left of that center line. So then I'm going to do the same thing this time and just present my face a little bit more open. Same swing, same setup, and just feel my face a little bit more open. Now that's out to the right. Now I'm going to get down the middle. So I'm just educating those hands. And that was fairly close to the center, not perfect. Face control is not easy, guys, so it's a great skill to develop. Super important. So again, to hit it left for the right hander, I'm just going to engage those hands a little bit more to those wrists to just turn that face left. And then the opposite to get it right. I'm going to engage those hands a little bit less. And then again, we're going to try and go down the center. So just a wonderful one to develop the skills of face control. So, you know, that first one, the second one there's going to be a massive distance between those two. And then you can up level that and start to get a little bit more cuter or fine with those adjustments and just bringing it a little bit less left. and then bringing it back to the center, then go really right and then bring it a bit less right, almost like a sprinkler. And you start to just develop this skill and this awareness, and then you can upgrade it to full swings as well. We'll try and get down the center here. That's pretty close, knocked the tape off there. And so, great skill to develop, guys, even indoors. Face control, super, super important to becoming a good, skilled golfer. So that's number 2. And finally, number 3 is all about controlling your low point. And that is, where does the club hit the ground? Often people are struggling with that low point. It's such a fine thing. You know, it's very easy just to have the club landing a little bit early into the ground, and that's going to give you those heavy shots. You could conversely have the club landing a little bit late into the ground. That's where we hit the top of the ball, and that's where you get those thin shots or even top shots. And so developing that control, it's such a fine line. When you're practicing indoors, it's very easy to get away with it because off a mat, you'll get that bounce effect. And so it looks like you hit a good shot, but I've hit quite a lot behind there. If you do that on a golf course, the distance is really, really going to suffer. So for this one, you could use either your tape or your spray. Make a little line here on the mat. Divot boards are really good as well. You can get those online from a lot of places here these days. So that's going to leave a bit of a mark on the ground. Now, with that, we're going to set the ball up just on the target side of the edge of the target side of that line. And before we hit, we're going to just do some practice swings and just develop that skill of landing the club just on that other side. So we're just going to land it just on the target side of that line. You can start small and you'll just see with feedback where the club's landing. Now, if you're catching it heavy too far behind, you're going to take half that spray with you. And what we're looking for in the swing with the irons is trying to get that bottom quarter of the ball first. Then the ball will obviously be gone. Then the club will start to touch the mat. The lowest point of your swing will be a little bit further forward here, and then the club would bounce back out of the mat. So the low point is going to be 3 or 4 inches ahead of the ball, but it's going to enter the turf just after the ball, or the mat in this case. So that's a great skill to develop. You could even walk down the line without a ball and just see, maybe do 10 swings and see how many out of 10 can you get just on that target side. Now, if you go too far and you can see you land too far forward, that's going to be a thin shot. So be honest with yourself when you're training this. That was a little bit heavy, and you can do it small swings, and then you can build it up to fuller swings. And you just go through that process of building that skill, that awareness of where your low point is. Then when you bring in the golf ball, now we're going to hit one and you'll get instant feedback. So from here, normal setup. So that one felt pure. I didn't take any of the spray there, and that was a good one. Now again, if I do a poor one on purpose and I'll hit behind the ball, watch that spray. Oh, gee, and that felt clunky. That's going to hit high in the face. That's going to reduce your ball speed. It's not going to go very far. Actually hurt my hands a little bit doing that. So that's the fat shot. And conversely, the thin shot is if I land the club too late and we get this, that one. Now, if you looked at those swings in slow motion on camera, they will look fairly similar. And it's just that little nuance, that little piece of, well, one was perfect coming in. One was a little bit heavy. I've got into the ground early, so I've chunked it. The club slowed down. I've hit high in the face, less ball speed. And the third one was the club coming in a little bit high. I've hit the equator or the top of the ball, caught it thin or topped it, and we know what that leads to. So, look, we're looking at, it's that, the difference between that, and that's what makes golf so challenging. So challenging. And yes, there's certainly technical aspects that can help or hinder your ability to make that repeatable and consistent, i.e. where's the weight transferring, where's your pressure, how's your swing plane, all those ideas. So yes, it's definitely a technical aspect which is very important when it comes to, you know, improving the golf swing, improving your golf game, but you can always develop your skills. You can always develop your skills. So then as your technique improves, you're blending good technique with good skills, and you start to get that beautiful match of of technique and skill, and that's where you really start to lower your golf scores and hit better golf shots. So guys, there's my top 3 drills to practice at home without a simulator. You don't even need real balls. As I say, here's my son's balls. You can be hitting these working on face control or low point. You really can. And there's going to be no damage if you get the strikes wrong, and your neighbours might not be hearing you hitting balls quite as loud. So number 1, strike spray, get some spray on the face, understand where you're hitting it. Number 2, work on your club face control, educate those hands, build those skills. And then number 3, work on your low point, where you entering the ground with your golf club. Those 3, if you can get good at that, guys, I guarantee you're going to improve. I guarantee it. So any questions on that, please let me know. Let's keep the conversation going. Would love to hear how you go with that. If you'd like some more free tips, please click the link below. Thank you guys for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.